Welcome back. We are now on week 5 of tumbling. We are now into the polishing stage. So we have one barrel this week that should be all complete. We'll rinse off the rocks, take a look at them, and then probably run them through a burnishing step for a couple hours and see how that goes. And then we have the other barrel, which is in the pre-polish stage right now. So we'll rinse those off, take a look, and then move them on to the polish step. Let's dump them out and see what we got. Okay, so I believe this one is the pre-polish, the 500 grit. So these will have one more week to go. Consistency is pretty runny, which is surprising. Last week with the other batch, the consistency was a lot foamier, which you'll see in a second when we look at the polished ones. All right, let's dump it up. I'm using a sieve this time because I have the ceramic pellets in there, so I don't want to lose any of them through the colander. All right, and this is it. This is finally the moment we get to see the polish stage. So, like I said before, I'm going to plan on burnishing these after they come out. But yeah, this one looks similar to last week. It's very foamy, almost over the top foamy. So let's dump these out. Let's see what we got. So this is what the rocks in the final polish stage look like right after coming out of the barrel. I haven't burnished them yet. I just basically cleaned them off, dried them off, and yeah, wow. I mean, it's amazing what a difference a week makes being in the polish. Pretty much after that first week, there's a dramatic change from them being very rough to being very rounded and smooth. But in the middle weeks, you don't see a lot of change happening. It's you can feel the change with your fingers usually. It gets smoother and smoother every week, but um, yeah, I mean between the pre-polish and now having just come out of the polish stage, I mean they are basically like glass. I mean they're shiny like glass, and you can kind of see that. So these are going to go into a burnish stage still. I still want to have them go in there. I'm going to put it in there with lots of ceramics, and I'll put in ceramics that I've used already, so they're not too rough. Um, and we'll burnish them for a few hours just to see if it helps bring out that luster even more. Okay, for the next step, we're going to take these polished stones and we're going to put them through a burnishing phase. I don't think this is strictly necessary. So I checked online resources as well as the directions that came with the tumbler, and basically the consensus is if they look good after the polishing stage, they're nice and shiny. They look about the same wet as they do dry, then they're done. You don't have to burnish them. The burnishing is supposed to remove any film that may still be left on the rocks after being done with the polishing stage. But I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways. Um, the instructions call for 1 tablespoon of a powdered soap, not a liquid soap. So I have borax. I've seen some people online use that. I think you could use other things like powdered ivory soap. I've seen people use shavings from a bar of soap. I don't know how well any of those work, but I'm going to go with borax. Seems like a safe bet. I'm going to use plenty of ceramic pellets here. If you have plastic pellets, that'll work too. The recommendation here is to use pellets that have already been through the tumbler so that you don't have any rough edges. So I'm going to be using the pellets that were used last week in the tumbling stages. So yeah, I'll get these filled up and then get on the tumbler. Okay, so this is ready to go. Fill it up with water about the same level as always, and I would say it's a little bit greater than 3/4 full. I'm not too concerned. This is only going to run for a few hours. I'll come back in a couple hours and check on it, empty it out, and see how they look when they're done. Okay, so I ran these through a burnish step with lots of ceramics in there. So you can see it's all that was in there was water and a tablespoon of borax. So I'm gonna just dump these out and clean them off really quick. But obviously there's not much change. Using the sieve again, so we don't lose any of the ceramics. I'll just rinse these off. Okay, so the final thing for today is to get the last batch of rocks into the polish grit for another week. And that's the group on the left here. So before we get those in, just wanted to do one last look comparison between the pre-polish step and the polish step, because there's a lot of change that goes on between these two steps. So I'm gonna try to zoom in a little tight to these. So this is the pre-polished on the left. You can still see, like, especially like look on those amethysts. Nothing's very shiny. Then I go over to the polish step and it's huge difference. I'll be taking some pictures, putting them on my Instagram page. So I'll get some nice shots of some of these polished rocks. Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'll prepare the group on the left for their last stage. And we'll just be doing like what we did last week with the ones on the right. So we'll have plenty of ceramics in there. This time these ceramics have already been through the tumbler for a week, so they'll be a little bit smoother. Hopefully I'll translate to even better results on this group. We'll be using about a cup of water, and we'll be using 6 tablespoons of the polish. I'll go ahead and do that now. All right, that's it for this week. I'm gonna go ahead and polish one barrel for the week, and the other barrel is just empty. I thought about putting some new rocks in there and some 6090 grit, but I think I'm just gonna hold off on that. Get some more rocks, either buying them online or going around locally and trying to collect some. We'll see. I do want to do another batch after this. Great results, so. Looking forward to procuring some new rocks and giving it another go. But yeah, one more week and we'll finish this batch.